Welcome to Season 2, Episode 19 of the Tree of Geek. This is Part 2 of the Geekinators. That's right, we're looking at
the Terminator franchise.
Yes.
How did we just afford to have him back for that? Thought we were out of money, Josh.
Patreon.
Oh,
Okay.
Thanks, John. John Connor? No, not John Connor. It's a different guy.
So we are going to be looking at Terminator 4, 5, and 6 in this episode. Now, please keep in mind, we are recording this on the same night that we just recorded 1, 2, and 3. So our What's New in Geek, go listen to the last episode because we don't have anything new. We're
absolutely nothing new. Breaking news? No, nothing.
Let me check Reddit quick. Yeah.
Nada.
So on that note, that means we can jump right into it. We finished up on Terminator 3 and the train wreck that it was. We're going to move into Terminator...
It's a crane wreck.
A crane wreck, yeah. We're going to move into the next entry in the franchise.
Do we even give our ratings for 3?
No, we didn't.
I think mine was a 6.
I think mine was a 6. Yes, it was. So,
well,
all those people who were anticipating it for 2 weeks.
What was his rating? I didn't know.
So, we are going to jump into Terminator Salvation 2009. This movie was PG-13, not R like all the previous ones.
What was the rating on that one website with the actors and actresses and directors on it?
You mean IMDb?
Yeah, that's probably the one.
A 6.5 out of 10.
Rotten Tomatoes, 33 critics, 53 audience.
Ouch.
Budgets?
Well, the movie came in at 1 hour and 58, so
okay.
right about 2 hours, and it cost approximately $200 million to create.
How much did it bring in worldwide?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
$371.3 million.
So about 125 million domestic.
171.
Domestic?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, domestic. Okay. I was going to say 171 million over the cost of the movie is what they made. But yeah, it was rough. It was rough. I'd never seen it until now, and now I know why. I will say the director was MCG.
Are we about to butt heads on this movie?
We might.
Oh, no.
However, I have to give it credit where credit is due. The music by Danny Elfman, phenomenal.
Yeah, and he's not any controversial figure today either.
No, not at all. So I there were pros and cons. I liked and I hated this movie all at the same time. It was a weird give take. I still rate it higher than Terminator 3.
I do.
But
I like it a decent amount better than Terminator 3.
So real quick, we'll go over the cast and dive right into it. John Connor is played by the third actor.
I'm John Connor.
Christian Bale.
That's what I said.
Christian Bale is coming in to play John Connor.
Where is she?
The third actor in the same number of movies that he was actually in. Actually, I don't think they ever had an actor play him twice.
No.
Wow. And then we have co-starring right next to him, Sam Worthington as Marcus Wright.
Doing those Avatar movies, right?
He's from Avatar. He also...
This is before Avatar, though, I think.
No, I think this is after.
Is it after? Like right after?
I think it's right after.
I don't know why I'm talking in that accent.
I don't either. I don't know what that's supposed to be.
I can go with this one if that's what you want now. You tell me.
Yeah, no. Let me see. So this movie came out in 2009. Avatar came out in 2009. So I'm not sure which one was actually first, but they filmed at the same time.
I think I remember watching this movie before I saw Avatar. But that might have been because I didn't see either in the theater.
He did come back for Avatar 2, The Way of the Water, in 2022. I don't know how many people have actually seen that one, but he came back for it.
Well, don't worry. There's like another 5 of them coming.
But you might also know him from Clash of the Titans.
Yeah.
And that other Clash movie, I can't remember what it was called. It was Clash of something.
Or should I go? Is that the Clash?
No.
Actually, not the Clash?
It might be. But he was also in Hacksaw Ridge as Captain Glover. Oh, great movie. I'm not a big war movie guy, but that is a fantastic
the Snyders say I need to watch it too.
It's a great movie. But yeah, then he did some voice acting and other stuff. Wrath of the Titans is the other one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, he in the cover, he's holding up Medusa's head on the box
he's
cover.
Perseus. We have a new Kyle Reese, this time played by Anton Yelchin.
Oh, yes, poor Anton Yelchin from Star Trek fame. He had a very tragic end in real life, and yeah.
Who did he play in Star Trek?
Chekhov.
Okay.
I can do this. I can do this.
Do we know what happened to him?
He came to his home, I think Beverly Hills or wherever it was, put his car in park, his Jeep, I think it was, and went to like open the gate or something, and it went out of park and crushed him to death at the gate.
Wow, that's
I'm,
awful.
I could be wrong on a couple little things, but I'm pretty sure that's the quick and short of it.
Well,
yeah, and he was a great actor. He did a movie after the Star Trek stuff with Patrick Stewart, where he plays like a punk band lead singer, and he sees Patrick Stewart and his people kill somebody at this concert, like this really shitty little punk concert, and he like tries to leave the facility with his band, and Patrick Stewart has his goons try to kill everybody. It is absolutely fantastic. I can't think of the name of it right now, but man, is that a good movie. So good. I've seen Patrick Stewart play a just slimy, devious villain was gold.
Yeah, that's horrible though. I hate it seeing like good people, well, at least good actors, being taken away in their prime. We almost had the same incident with Jeremy Renner just last winter.
Yeah.
I still don't know how it happened, but I guess
I never fully looked into the details.
I guess somehow he got out of the vehicle and the snowplow rolled over him, or somebody else was driving. I don't remember.
I don't know.
All I know is he got really messed up, and thankfully he's okay. I know he took some time off acting. I don't know if he's back yet or not, but
he seems to be. I've seen him in some interviews and stuff. He seems to be on the mend pretty well. He seems like a fighter. So
I guess he took a serious beating. But let's continue talking about Terminator. Coming up next as Blair Williams, we have Moon Bloodgood.
Yeah. She was in X-Men Origins Wolverine, wasn't she?
I have no idea who that is.
She plays Wolverine's lover in the very beginning. I think that's her.
Maybe.
If not, then I apologize for the confusion. You know, Jeremy Renner would play a really good Kyle Reese.
Yeah, he would.
Just hit me on that.
Yeah.
He would.
Then we have Helena Bonham Carter, or Helena, however you want to say it, playing Dr. Serena Kogan. She will forever and always be Bellatrix Lestrange to me.
Yeah.
And what's her face from Fight Club?
We'll just stick with the first one.
She always reminded me a lot of actually Johnny Depp, in the sense of like they can become any character.
I suppose.
You disagree?
No, I don't disagree with her being able to come with any character.
Fine.
I don't know if Johnny Depp can.
All right. She always reminded me of Gary Oldman. Like, she just becomes her character. She could play anybody.
Yeah, Gary Oldman's a fucking rock star, man.
He is. I don't know how he's not in more things. Unless he is and we don't recognize him.
Well, he just did he's nominated for Best Actor against Walton Goggins. He did like some British cop show.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I saw some previews for it, but it's like on the BBC or something.
Right. Well, then moving on, we have Jada Grace playing Star, the mute little girl. Bryce Dallas Howard playing Kate Connor.
She was just in that Argyle movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. She's also in the Jurassic World movies. She's also Richie Cunningham from Happy Days' daughter.
Oh, I didn't know the lineage there.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember.
That's...
What's his name? Something Howard.
The guy who did Willow. He directed Willow. Fucking not Clint Howard. He's the horror movie brother. Oh, my God. Oh, how could I think of his first name?
Well, I
didn't know that was his kid.
This is his daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Then we have this playing Barnes, just the name Common.
Yeah, it's the rapper / actor Common. He's in a lot of... He was in Silo.
Oh, yeah.
He's a security dude.
Jane Alexander.
Surprised you didn't know that like right away.
Jane Alexander playing Virginia.
I think we can just stop at the gas. Like nobody else is aboard. I mean, Michael Ironside's in this.
And Michael Ironside playing General Ashdown.
Ashdown? That was his name? I don't remember actually saying
that was his name, Ashdown.
Are they down there? So, I'm just kidding. Every time we're just doing Batman voices, get ready for it. It's just happening.
So, again, this is the first time I watched this one. I don't know. It was definitely a love-hate thing. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie, but there's a lot of aspects of it that I really didn't like at the same time. So if you want to go and start out into this, I mean...
Well, let's start out in 2003, because we have Cyberdyne Systems Genetic Division Body Donor Prison Cancer section, where Worthington's character Marcus, he's on death row, he's about to be executed, he needs to donate his body. He decides at the last minute that Bellatrix is talking good enough to him that he's going to do it. And this is the first movie that doesn't start with the Terminator like time bubble type thing. Like there's no future warfare thing. There's no time bubbles. There's no.
But there is
Schwarzenegger ass.
still kind of time travel. kind of.
Well, I mean, there's a time jump to 2018.
But I mean, his character wakes up in 2018.
Yes.
So it's kind of to him like time travel.
Yeah, he just doesn't show up in a sphere.
But see, I feel like this is a lot more in your classic Terminator style survival movie. This was like a full-on war movie.
Yeah, I suppose like a grunt type deal, like a post-apocalyptic world for sure. I like that they keep some of the Terminator designs from the previous movies. Like they don't just chuck shit away and say we're going to do things all new. You know, it's like, oh, yep, those are Terminators. Some of the things that you watched in T3, you're like, that HK looks like the bigger version of the HK. That's nice.
Yeah.
So John Connor is going to go down with a team into this big giant center that's like it's like a huge pit, and they're looking for something. Shit goes south real quick. Shit blows up. We see Terry Crews laying there.
Is that Terry Crews?
Yeah, I had to rewind. I was like, wait, was that Terry Crews? And sure enough, it's Terry Crews. Apparently, he had a couple lines. He did not know that his lines were cut until he saw the movie. Like, he went to the premiere, he saw the movie, and was like, what the shit? So, Common, Barnes, he's supposed to be the brother of Barnes. They're supposed to be kind of a little bit more of a bad, not some, it was, they never said it was huge or substantial, but it was supposed to be a little bit more there for you to care about this other character. And nobody ever told him why he was cut. He just doesn't know why. They just cut his role, you know, and he was a decent actor at the time. He'd done White Chicks and other things. Like, it's not like he was a nobody. So I don't know. Things are strange. Sometimes editing rooms are weird.
Like, we need to save 20 seconds. All right, well.
Yeah. We see right away, John Connor's not in charge. Like, he's in charge of some men, but no, he's not like the head honcho.
Like, he's definitely a key member, but yeah, he's still taking orders.
Yeah, he's not fully ahead of the resistance. I think, you see that
he's a soldier.
Throughout the movie that they're like, are you a prophet? Are you really a prophet? Like, some people are just not buying his story. Like, they're just not getting it. He likes to listen to his mommy's tapes, you know?
Yeah. Real quick, did you notice that in the underground facility, you do see Marcus briefly laying on a table?
I did. Yeah, there's a bunch of corpses and things there of their genetic manipulation, whatever they're doing. Because like after the explosion and after John leaves, Marcus somehow crawls out of the hole full of mud.
I had that in my notes. How did he get out from because there was a big explosion and
even if you can kind of figure out how does he get out, like, why is he not like messed up? Like, there's a huge fucking explosion. He was just lying on a slab. Unless that one on the slab was a Terminator copy. Maybe he was in another part of the facility.
Well, these
are things that might have been cut. If they're already cutting Terry Crews, I'm instantly knowing now after this rewatch that there's probably a shit ton of other stuff they cover in this movie.
Well, we also know, though, looking at the screen when he's down there, Christian Bale's character, John Connor, that this is where they discover they're making a new model of Terminator. This is the T-800. This is the infiltration unit. So, yeah, it's totally possible that was an early model that got scrapped, and we ended up with Schwarzenegger's.
Very possible, indeed. I wish we'd see other Terminators more prevalent somewhere. Just other muscle-bound dudes or other women that are, look like they could, like, punch a hole through a wall. Not just Schwarzenegger every single time. I know that he carries the series on his back, but just a little gripe I have. Yeah, I guess I didn't really write down everything that happens in this movie.
I did.
Did you?
Too much.
Well, you can jump in here at any time, my friend. Any time.
So, okay, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Spoiler, we know now, Marcus is like a Terminator hybrid, right?
Yeah, we don't know exactly what he is at this point in the movie.
Right. But, okay, so I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, but later on, we see him go to the one wall. They recognize him as a Terminator, and they let him in.
But why doesn't the T-600 recognize him and start shooting at him when he meets
why
Kyle Reese?
Open up a Gatling gun on him and try and kill him right away? You can't say, well, he was far away. No, they recognize the signals. They recognize, robotics.
Yeah, there's a couple plot holes.
I think it was just a red herring. Like, they didn't want you to think, oh, well, why didn't it shoot at him? They wanted you to immediately think, oh, man, he's going to get killed.
Yeah, and I understand why they would do that, but they need to make it make sense later on, and they never do.
Yeah, it could be cut.
It could have been cut. Yeah. So yeah, he meets Anton Yelchin, who plays Reese. You see the T-600, and man, now they did have a guy playing the T-600. There's another bodybuilder guy, kind of like with some stuff on. I didn't really even notice that it was a dude, but it just looked so good, this practical effect. I thought the T-600 looked great. It looked scary, you know, like
it was like black metal instead of the silver.
It looked like whatever, like the rubber skin that they were talking about was like it melted off.
It was like rotting off. Yeah,
like it was like a zombie Terminator, and it was like pretty tough. I like how they dropped like the car stuff on him, the axle stuff.
Yeah.
Kyle says the famous line, "Come with me if you want to live."
Of course.
You know, it's you get to see the HK killers, the big, you know, the bigger ones, and we eventually get back to the facility with John. You know, he's listening to mommy tapes. They want to know about this signal. You know, he's apparently the command people are all down in the submarine, and he just free fall dives into the middle of the fucking ocean. Oh my god, are they down there?
Expecting to be picked up.
Yeah, tell them I'm on the way. Jumps down in there. He fights with Michael Ironside. He's like, listen, dude, you're just a soldier. You're just a punk. Shut your mouth. The Russian dude's a little bit more receptive to him. He's like, yeah, take this thing here and, you know, go practice. It'll be fine. So they decide they need to get a water bot. I don't know why Terminators need to have water bots. Other than the fact they look cool as shit and scary.
To hunt. I assume at some point maybe they discovered, oh, the Terminator's short out if they go in the water. I don't know. I don't know. And so maybe they tried to hide underwater. And so they decide, hey, I'm going to put these eel-looking things in here.
But those eels are not going down in the ocean to... Are they terminating sharks and orcas? Like, what are we doing here?
It was, honestly, I think it was just a, hey, let's put a new design in here type of thing.
So, like, kind of Alien Resurrection when they need to have the aliens swim. The xenomorphs start swimming around. We just... Dude, Terminator's got to swim, too. Well, I mean, we didn't talk about the Terminator TV show, the Sarah Connor Chronicles, but apparently there's a whole thing in there about Terminators can't swim because they just sink. But somehow Summer Glau's character is a different type of Terminator, and she's, like, light enough to be able to swim. So, like, wouldn't the water bots, who didn't really look nautical as far as, like, their aqua dynamics, I don't know, it's aerodynamics, but in water, I don't know. I'm not an aquanologist, okay? But I'm just saying, like,
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Emily calls, she wants to be an oceanologist, so.
That's a real thing.
Is it an oceanologist?
Not an aquanologist.
I'd be an aquanaut. Anyway, I don't understand why they got water ones. They look cool as hell, though. But yeah, they need to capture one so they can do the whole signal thing. In the meantime, other things are happening, like Reese, Star have decided to go off. They run into like a 7-Eleven Circle K.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get food from these people. This old lady's going to be nice. Out of nowhere, somehow, this massive, I call the 7-Eleven Terminator, plows into the building and grabs the old lady. You don't hear this like, okay, I out of curiosity the other day, I was bored at work. I was like, what is like the biggest machine type thing on Earth? And I'm looking at those giant excavators that they got. You know how loud those sons of bitches are. Okay, so you're not using diesel or gasoline. You still are going to have some sort of humming. Your machine, the metal, the hydraulics, something is going to make... How did it just show up there whisper quiet? The HK prison carrier up in the air? Sure. We have whisper quiet aircraft out there.
But this is like Pacific Rim size robot sneaking up on a 7-Eleven.
What do they call those things?
You mean the bot thing? I don't remember.
No, what is Godzilla? They call these things...
Oh, kaiju?
Kaijus. Yes, this is like a baby kaiju robot jocks. Everybody remembers that movie.
Well, and you can't tell me they didn't have lookouts.
Even like the stomping or the driving, the vibration of this thing. Anyway, I digress. They get captured. So, what was her name? Loon Bloodgood's name? The lady, I have no idea who that is from Wolverine.
Blair Williams.
Yeah. So Blair Williams tries to stop the prison transport. She ends up having to eject out. She runs across Marcus, who's just do. He's like, shit, I guess I got to keep walking this direction because that's the way the plane was going. I got to go save my newfound friend. I don't really know him, but yeah, the resistance sounded cool. So he helps her get down, and she's like, you know what? I'm just going to flash this guy. I'm just going to go over here because he helped me with my wound, but now I'm just going to flash him.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, and then I'm going to snuggle up with him because I need body heat. Yeah, don't worry, buddy. That's not what I'm here for. I just need some body heat. Yeah, some punk dudes try to show up. I don't know if this was before or after the body heat, but Marcus beats the shit out of him. Because obviously, she's like, it's the whole same Walking Dead thing. Like, oh, we got to stick together. Us humans can't be mean to each other. The Terminators are the bad people. And he's like, woman, I don't care.
And that comes up again in a later movie.
And at this point, she's like, well, come back to Resistance HQ with me. I'll help you do what you need to do. You help me, whatever, will be cool. Minefield. Guess what? Minefields are magnetic with these bouncing betties somehow. I don't know if they're bouncing betties. Anyway, one latches to his leg. Well, you see one kind of as he walks by.
Yeah.
And then one of them slaps to his leg. He looks down. He's like, oh, shit. Boom. Blows up. Wakes.
Like, how is that? Did she not see it? Did she just assume he stepped on it, maybe?
Maybe. I guess. But I wanted her trust in this world. She just almost got raped by like 5 dudes who wanted a cheeseburger and a piece. And this guy she's never met before. We know that Terminators have infiltration units. We know. Well, I mean, I guess this is kind of the beginning where they
don't because
but Terminators are still sneaky. They've built a whole entire damn compound.
Yeah, but the D800 or the T800 was in development. That's the new one they just discovered. So they didn't really have the infiltration units yet.
I'm just saying, with all the untrustworthiness of everybody out there, she warmed up to this dude pretty good. Well, as she
warmed her up.
Well, as she, I guess, yells later on, he saved my life. He didn't have to do that. And they're like, that's what they do. See, even they're like, they're well, because the T600 was supposed to be an infiltration. It's just they could spot them right away because of the rubber skin. And she already knows that they already went into a facility and saw that they were working on new Terminators. My point is, I'm not sure why she was so trustworthy so quick. I mean, it wasn't bad. I mean, he's a cool guy, I guess, for her. They could have, wish they would have ran off into the sunset, but that's not how it goes. So what happens here in the facility? They got him hanging up by these car parts, right?
They got him hanging up by a car axle and chains and his chest exposing all this, metal.
What did you think about that type of the practical nature of that? I thought it was like him hanging there and like you could see the metal and the flesh.
Oh, I thought that was really interesting. I like that. It added a new, I guess you could almost say dynamic to the idea of being a Terminator. But I had trouble with the fact that why would they develop this and let him keep his humanity? Unless he was some type of sleeper unit that was eventually they flip a switch and
the Manchurian Terminator.
Yeah.
Oh God, Michael Bay. That's gonna be the movie, the Manchurian Terminator.
But it just doesn't make sense. Like, why would you want? I mean, I understand it'd be a lot easier to gain trust and all that stuff, but there's no guarantee that this human consciousness is going to carry out your plans.
No, you're right.
Unless you can switch that off.
Well, I mean, this is the only model we've seen, the Marcus model, whatever's model he was. So apparently this was, maybe Skynet realized this is a scrapped idea.
Maybe.
After this whole debacle. Well, Blair's going to break him out. Common's supposed to murder him. She's like, go see Johnny. And the whole chase goes on where John Connor has to try to chase down Marcus. More water bots.
Yeah.
I dug the scene where he was in the helicopter kind of under the water trying to get out. These things are coming at him. I don't know if I really dug the scene where Marcus comes flying out of the water holding on to one of them. Like wrestling it like a gator down there in Florida. I got this when you hold on a minute, Bear. Don't worry about this, Johnny. I got this real quick.
Yeah, insert banjos here.
Well, that's where you just lost 3 listeners from Florida.
Trust me, we didn't lose anything.
Damn, cold-hearted. No, we love our listeners from everywhere. We are just toying around. We really, really are.
We really aren't.
Okay, he's not. I am. I don't know.
Anyways.
Yeah, so
then we have Christian Bale's John Connor letting him go. Basically saying basically, hey, don't make me regret this type of thing. After he just tried to murder him for an hour straight.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Marcus is like, he tells him I gotta get Kyle. He's like, Kyle who? He's like, Kyle Reese. Martha. He's gotta get Kyle Reese. Where'd you say that name? And he's like, okay. He's like, listen, dude, I'll get in there. I'll help you get in there. Like, you can stop whatever the hell's going on. Like, I don't give a shit. I just want to save that kid. Like, I don't, I'm looking for redemption. You don't really, I guess he's just, if he was such a really good guy, like, I want to know, what did he do to get the death row? Like, obviously he killed somebody, but like, what, do we know this? Do you have this answer somewhere?
I do.
Okay. What was he on death row for?
So from what I read, his character was essentially into like small time crime with his brother Sam. Something went awry, resulting in multiple cops getting killed, as well as his brother in some type of shootout. But
And that all got laid on his head,
because he was the only one left, yeah.
and he kind of felt bad.
I thought I had it written down here, but I'm not seeing it. But yeah, that's what I read on. I think it was on the wiki or the Wikia. You know, it's like the fandom,
the Terminator Wikia, yeah.
where they gave more backstory on him. There's very, very little backstory though.
Well, I guess that kind of makes sense. He just wants to be a good guy and go save the kids, and everybody was nice to him. John's like, okay, well, I'm going to tell the bigwigs about this. They're like, no, we don't give a shit. We're doing this thing. Weird. You said the signal worked. We're gonna do this. So this is where Marcus just shows up at the compound. What is it, like upper California?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like San Diego. They got a charge of. I don't live in California.
He basically just walks up, rings a doorbell, and they let him in.
Yeah, which we talked about earlier. They just scan him. The weapon shuts down, and then they open the door. And then he just wakes up in a room, right?
Yeah.
He just wake up. And not only so he wakes up in the room, and he fights with Bellatrix over the monitor. No. I got this wrong. So he rings the doorbell. He goes in. He magically finds, because this is in my notes, how did he magically find this monitor room? This control center. How did he know where this room was? I mean, this facility is huge. I mean, it's pretty big. It's like a little city, right? It's like, It's not Mega City 1.
You don't know that.
I don't know. This could be Judge Dredd. I have no idea. But he just magically finds it. He, falls over unconscious and
finds out that, what's her name? Serena Bellatrix.
It's Bellatrix. Her other name doesn't matter.
She essentially pulled the same thing they do in Captain America, and she's like in the computer, I guess.
That's how AI works.
Well, yeah.
Dude, I wish someday we need to get a live recording, because the looks that you give me, if you could shoot laser beam. Like, would you just shut the fuck up?
Anyways. And she shuts him down?
Yeah, and and then he wakes up with a whole new body, because his other body was riggedy wrecked. She's like, don't worry, buddy. I got you a new body right here. It's fine. She's like, you're gonna kill the resistance for us. And he gets mad and throws a chair through the window.
Yeah, he broke the window, so she's obviously dead.
Yes, that's
how AI works.
Yeah, it's in the grains of the glass, the sand grains.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, and then John, I like how John, the whole callback to Guns N' Roses. So we got the motorcycle Terminators are dope. I don't know what they're called. I'll have to look them up again. But these dudes are cool. They're fast. It's almost like a Transformer type thing, just the way that they kind of sped around. And
oh yeah, definitely.
At one point it was going to get smashed, but it like rolls down onto its side, or just falls down to the side and slips underneath some and zips right back up.
Mm-hmm.
But he puts up a tripwire, like a guillotine wire, knocks one down. He's jamming the song from T2.
Is it the same song?
Yeah, it's the same damn song. You could be mine. Takes out the eye of it. Incapacitates the motorcycle and then rips down the road on it. I was like, that's pretty cool. Like, I want that motorcycle. That was a little crotch rocket. I mean, you used to have a crotch rocket, right?
Yeah.
You'll have one again soon.
No.
2 years.
No.
No? You're not going to buy another one?
No, I think I'm out of the rocket stage. I'd probably just get something I can relax on. But I don't know about a Harley because they're so loud.
Yeah.
I know that sounds ridiculous. Most people want a bike because they want them to be loud, easier for cars to see you. But I don't want to get a headache riding around.
I'm with you. Get a Spider, man.
I will say, though, the rocket had that whine.
Wing.
Like when you
could be mine.
When you get on it.
Yeah, so, I mean, John Connor gets there. You know, everybody's getting rescued, but a big battle happens. They get to the part where you get to see where all the Arnie's are getting made, right?
That was pretty cool. The whole assembly line, and
so you get Kip Rollinger,
Rip Torn
right now. Your daughter runs into the Terminator. Rip Torn is a Terminator infiltration unit. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder how J and K would deal with Terminators.
They die.
Yeah. But yeah, Roland Kickinger, from Son of the Beach, he actually played Arnold Schwarzenegger in a bioepic type movie where he plays him earlier doing the Mr. Universes.
Okay.
He does the body double for Arnie here because they digitally, way back when they're first starting to do the digital faces, before everybody got super angry about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that whole entire fight scene, I really kind of enjoyed the whole chase through the cyber facility, the Skynet facility. What did you think about that whole thing?
I liked it. I thought it was a cool callback. Well, call forward, I guess, for the future Terminator, bringing him in. But it was also a good way to bring Arnold's image into it, even though he couldn't be in the movie.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, it's in the future. He's too old. He physically, as much as I love the guy, he can't do that. That makes sense. So why not get the guy that is like the same exact size as you and is from Austria? Why not do it? But I think they should have had.
But it was only for a few minutes, too.
Right, because eventually gets down to the chassis, just down to the metal.
Yep. Where they then decided to use both liquid nitrogen like spray, and they used heat and molten steel, like everything from the previous movies.
However, I'm not sure that's precisely how it works in actual science. That you can be frozen and then like heat it up like so quickly. Like it doesn't, or no, this one, it was reversed. It had the lava that took the flesh off, but then they used the nitrogen to freeze him. I'm not sure nitrogen could freeze that hot of metal that quick. So like,
I have no idea.
I don't think that's, listen, I'm not a schmelter. I don't know what you call people that work that smelt stuff or
smelters.
They smell the people that do the liquid. Like remember Rudy in that movie, the football? Did you ever watch Rudy with the football? Like his dad works in the iron work. I guess there's iron workers. So they were all. I'm not an iron worker. I don't know how iron works at high temperatures as compared to Arctic temperatures of dry ice. I don't know. No, but everybody gets rescued, I guess, but not everybody survives. What were your major issues with this movie? You said that you liked it, but yet didn't like it. Explain what you mean by that.
So I liked a lot of the ideas that they ran with. For example, the signal was actually a fake signal created by Skynet. The one that
humans
was
again
supposed to shut the robots down. Instead, they used it to track the signal so they could take out the submarine full of officials. I thought that was genius. I liked it. I really didn't like the idea of the whole like human Terminator hybrid.
It seemed like a bad idea.
Well,
like so many
and
things
then letting
wrong.
him keep his humanity, like I don't know, it didn't make sense to me. It did not feel like something AI would have done.
Maybe the facility got hit, you know, when John Connor's team at the beginning and they're there. Maybe he was rolled out before he was supposed to. Maybe the Skynet had to work on the fly. I don't know.
It didn't feel like a Terminator movie to me though.
Even though there was Terminators everywhere, it didn't feel like that to you?
It didn't.
Or do you mean just because it wasn't that chase of we're being chased by a robot who wants to fucking murder me?
Right, like the stakes didn't feel like they were there. It didn't feel I didn't have the anxiety that I should watching a Terminator movie. This just felt like a war movie. We already know, John Connor has to survive. We already know that Kyle Reese has to survive.
I think they should have done something where John Connor doesn't like survive this. I mean, we skipped over the part where he's supposed to get the heart for Marcus, you know.
Yeah.
But like, what if
he's mortally wounded
dies here and the Connor baby ends up being the one that saves everything?
So there's actually a different ending they were originally going to do.
Oh, okay. Tell me more.
That's all I know. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, shit.
So in the original ending, John Connor dies, and they take his face and put it on Marcus. So Marcus continues the image of John Connor, because they even say, like, it's not the person, it's the symbol type of thing.
Did you see my jaw right now?
No, the mic's in the way. I can't.
Fucking flabbergasted. Like, are you serious?
Yes.
You're not making this up.
No. So in the original, they wanted him to die. They wanted his face to be put on Marcus. Marcus takes over as John Connor, and eventually he's the one that actually sends Kyle Reese back. They apparently ran this with a test audience, And it was so universally hated that they said, okay, let's change that. And now we have what we have.
Well, I'm glad that never really took place.
Yeah, I agree, because
I
that
feel like
would've been
there's some
awful.
Terminator timeline where it did, but wow. So do you, what did you like then? If that was all the stuff that you're like, it didn't feel like a Terminator, like what do you like about the movie? What, because you said I do like the movie. You were just lying to yourself, weren't you?
No.
You really don't like the movie.
Well, I don't know. It was missing a lot of the main things that make a Terminator movie. You know what I mean? Like, there's no high stakes highway chases. There was no one-on-one, is he going to live or not? I mean, yeah, there was the fight with the T-800, but again, you knew John Connor had to live. So what do I like about it?
I don't know how to help you out here.
Man,
I think like for all the reasons that you didn't really like it, I enjoyed it because it wasn't the same old. I feel like T1 was great, T2 improved on everything, T3 tried to repeat the formula, not to very good effect. It was too much comedy. I feel like this one was like, all right, let's go left instead of right. Let's do something different here. Let's zig instead of zag. And I appreciated a whole different idea.
see, maybe that's where I got lost on him, because we went from practically, I don't want to say a comedy, but like I said, a parody of a Terminator movie.
Would you have rather had like another, like this time it's in Chicago or this time it's in Detroit, like another big giant chase thing? Would you rather have had like the repeated formula of the first three?
No, I'm glad they didn't.
But you still don't think?
I don't know. It felt more like just a war movie than it did a Terminator sequel to me. I mean, it was PG-13, so we never really got to see any solid fight in actions, like where people had the stakes in it.
I don't know. I thought I like the machine gun warfare of it all, of this one. The chaos. This one's very much chaotic in a way.
They don't ever hit anything.
People were getting killed. Terminators were taking out humans.
Not in the main characters.
No.
And then they outrun a nuclear blast in a helicopter at the end. Literally, he hits the button while they're like right next to it.
Listen, the physics don't always add up in movie magic. No, I get that. There's stuff like that don't make a whole lot of sense. And there's a shit ton in this movie that doesn't make sense.
Was it entertaining? Absolutely.
I do like the movie.
Would I watch it again? Absolutely. Is it my favorite? No, not at all.
We'll have to give your final ranking at the very end, just real quick. So what is your rating on this one then? Like, what do you get it out of 10? He's looking around.
I gave this one a 6.5 out of 10. So it is higher than 3, but not by a lot.
I gave this movie like an 8. I really like this movie. I've seen it a few times. I enjoyed it in the theater. I really dug this movie. I thought the acting, when you get somebody like Christian Bale, I felt like he had that gravitas. He had that sternness, that grittiness to be John Connor.
Yeah, but that's the problem too, is I feel like they were relying on him to kind of carry the movie.
And he did for me. He did. Apparently he didn't do it for you, but he did it for me. I don't know.
He doesn't do it for me.
I don't know. I like Christian Bale. I think, like you were talking about Bellatrix, how she can morph into so many roles. I think Christian Bale's the same way. I think he can. I mean, bought him as John Connor.
I liked it. I didn't feel it fit into the franchise how I think it should have. That's all.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the next one. Unless you have, do you have any behind the scenes trivia stuff for this one?
Yeah.
You? Okay. What do you got? Roll them out for me, homie.
What don't I got? It's
Dignity.
Well, there's that. So originally, this was meant to be the start of a new trilogy to the series, but it didn't do so hot.
Yeah, I read that it did fine financially, like kind of okay, but it didn't resonate with viewers.
I know, yes, this is number 4.
Ask for another one.
Yeah, like this is number 4, and then 5 and 6 come after. So technically, it's the start of another trilogy. But it was supposed to be a trilogy that all followed the same continuity.
Yeah.
As you'll find out very quickly, the next 2 movies do not follow this continuity.
No, we definitely get on some different timeline tracks.
Oh yeah. Linda Hamilton did actually come back. She was not in the film, as we know, but she did provide a voiceover, or multiple voiceovers, for the tapes that John Connor was listening to.
The mommy tapes.
So those weren't just old recordings. They were fresh recordings that she did do.
I liked him sitting down listening. He's like, I need to listen to what she said.
Yeah.
I feel like after the last movie, after Crystal Peak, he's like, you know what? I got to stop being a dickhead here. I got to take this seriously.
Yeah. Originally, this was supposed to be directed by Jonathan Mostow again. He did Terminator 3.
I'm glad he didn't do
But
that.
it ended up being MCG instead. Like, who is MCG? That's all.
He's done like some action type movies, but they're never like big blockbusters, really. I want to know where he got his mommy tapes from. If he was stuck in Crystal Peak, we had a nuclear fallout. Where did he get his tapes? Is what I would like to know.
Probably another random coffin somewhere.
I did like that they didn't just ignore the movies before this.
Right. Yeah, they did try and patch them in.
They didn't say it specifically goes after 3. Like, oh, they didn't. But I mean, the fact that Kate was there, she still was a redhead. They did have a baby. Like, you know.
I did think it was interesting that we did get to see how he got his scar.
Yeah, that was pretty
I was
sick.
hoping that was going to be the Terminator that got sent back in time. So, like, the one that scarred him was the same one that went back to kill him.
That would have been pretty cool.
So Christian Bale originally passed on this role. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The strongest contender other than him was actually Josh Brolin.
A younger Josh Brolin there. Not like super young, but I mean, he ends up playing Cable.
I know.
I mean, that's pretty much like a John Connor type thing.
Matthew McConaughey was considered for the part.
That would have been interesting. I don't know if they explained the accent because he can't get rid of it.
Eric Bana.
I could have bought Eric
was approached for it.
I could have totally bought that.
Daniel Day-Lewis was considered, but refused.
Well, he's the other guy, like Christian Bale, that'll like turn into anybody.
And rumored in talks, but never actually got cast, again, Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel, huh?
To be John Connor.
Oh, my Lord. I'm surprised Edward Furlong was never talked to about this. I wonder if there was any conversation ever with him.
Oh, I think at this point he was in his downward spiral.
Still?
Did he ever get out?
I have no idea what's happening with Eddie these days. No idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, hell.
So apparently during the filming of this, Christian Bale had a very widely publicized outburst towards the director of photography.
Yeah, there's
It was over some lighting issue.
I've heard the recording. He is just screaming at this dude. Yeah, just like flipping on this guy. I didn't know it was on this movie, though. I thought it was a different movie he was flipping out on that guy. Unless there's another one. There's like a whole like 2-ish minute long thing. Oh, he's just screaming. He's like, hey, you fucking... He's just going off on this dude. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. A large portion of this movie's special effects were actually done with practical effects, like explosions, stunts, etc. There was surprisingly little CGI when it came down to like the bigger imagery of it. And then the last little tidbit, Stan Winston passed away during the production of this movie.
Yeah.
So it was the last one he worked on, and his team actually continued and finished the film.
Kudos to them.
So it was in his honor.
There'll never be another Stan Winston.
No.
There'll be other amazing makeup and FX guys and women, but never going to be another pure Stan Winston.
No, Stan Winston was a visionary.
Yeah.
He saw how to make things happen that no one else
to make creatures look like he did and so realistic.
Yeah.
What a great guy. I've never heard anything bad about Stan Winston like ever. Hopefully we never do.
All right, so let's move into probably the best movie in the franchise. I'm just kidding.
Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles from 2008 to 2009.
No, that's definitely not where I was going with that.
Yeah. Well, I think we should mention the Sarah Connor.
Do we really need to?
I think we should mention the Terminator Sarah. Let me say the whole fucking thing.
Sound it out.
I think we should mention the Terminator, the Sarah Chronicle. I feel like one of the movie sets where the guy just can't get the words right, like the Geico commercial. I think we should move on just very briefly. I know we did not cover the series, but Terminator, the Sarah Connor Chronicles was on from 2008, 2009. I think they thought, let's not do movies. Let's move on to something else here. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has 85 for the critics and 86 for the audience. It was only on for 2 seasons, got canceled, but
so it wasn't horrible.
No, and I did watch part of the first season. I feel they were trying to go with a different direction, but still honor the series. I just couldn't sit down. I didn't have the time to watch 2 seasons, and I don't think you did either. We had a lot of stuff going on in these last few weeks. But that happens, and then we jump to 2015 where we get Genisys. What do you got for your scores on that one?
Let's see. Terminator Genisys 2015, again, PG-13. Coming in at 2 hours and 5 minutes. IMDb gave it a 6.3 out of 10.
Rotten Tomatoes, 26 over the critics. Man, that's brutal. 52 for audience. We already know this is kind of a bombish. What's the budget on this one?
The budget was 155 million, which is down actually from the previous. So you can tell even studios saw the writing on the wall, like, hey, maybe this isn't surviving much longer. And grossing worldwide 440.6 million.
And this is why domestic is important, because domestic, it only made 89.8 here.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
That's almost half of what it cost.
Like, I'm glad that everybody overseas loved this, but here in America, people are like, what did you do? Why did you do this? I don't know if I 100% agree, other than I will definitely admit that when I first saw this, I might have saw this in theaters. I can't 100% remember, but I know that when I did see it, I was not happy. I was very upset. So when we said we're going to do the series, we got to rewatch all these. I was like, man, I was talking shit. I was like, man, I'm not looking for this was like when we were doing Die Hard and I had to get to that last Die Hard. I knew I was like, even on a rewatch, I knew I wasn't going to like that movie. And I thought about it the same way here, but I did not feel the same way. You know,
you liked it?
We are. I don't hate it. I don't love it. Maybe my feelings on this one are kind of the same emotional feelings you had for Salvation.
Maybe.
So who's in this movie anyhow?
Well, directed by Alan Taylor. And the score music by Lorne Balfe.
Never heard of either of them.
Yeah, me either, actually. But we see Arnold Schwarzenegger come back, this time not as the Terminator, but as the Guardian. That's what they refer to him as in the credit.
It's not Pops?
Well, yeah, Pops, but even in the credits, I guess it's the Guardian, not Terminator.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Jason Clarke as John Connor.
He did that Boston show with no, dude was in Star Trek at the time, so he was doing like some TV shows here. He was starting to get sort of popular.
I didn't like him at all.
He also did the remake of Pet Sematary, which was not good at all.
Well, he wasn't John Connor to me at all. Like, he didn't fit.
I think he's a good actor, but he did not fit. I completely agree with you here.
Then we have Emilia Clarke, no relation to Jason Clarke.
So they're not like Targaryen cousins or nephews?
No, I looked it up. No relation. Emilia
Clarke would have
been
jacked up.
Playing Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor.
Jai Courtney as Kyle Reese.
You might know him from that amazing Die Hard movie.
Die Hard 5 in Russia.
Or maybe you know him from Spartacus, which he played Varco in the first season or two, and he was awesome. That's where I knew him from before this.
He had an amazing death in that show too.
Yeah, that's a good show.
That is a good show. J.K. Simmons as O'Brien. He's a police cadet, but then later detective. We'll get through that part.
Did you see the extended scene where he runs out of the police station and goes, "Damn you, Spider-Man"?
I did not.
Oh, well,
I did not.
It got cut for most of the versions.
Oh, jeez. Then we have Deo Ekeniyi. I don't know how to pronounce that last name.
Is this the T-1000 cop?
No, as Danny Dyson.
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about some Danny Dyson today.
It's Deo, and then the last name is Okeniyi. So Okeniyi. And then we have Matt Smith as
the Doctor.
Well, he's referenced as Alex, but also as Skynet. He's the physical embodiment of Skynet, I guess.
That's what AI does. It physically manifests.
Sure. And then as the cop / the T-1000, we do not have our beloved Peacemaker Daddy.
No.
Instead, we have Lee Byung-hun.
I think for the small part he was in it, I thought the guy did great.
I agree. Yeah, he did.
He could do he caught me off guard. I forgot. I didn't like this movie so much. I kind of erased most of it from my memory. So this rewatch, I was like, oh shit, I don't remember half this movie like at all. I was like, what? Well,
this movie
Terminator
opens up on John Connor. This movie opens up on John Connor preparing to lead the resistance on what he believes is the final assault against Skynet. They get inside. They think they've won. They find the, what do you want to call it? The teleporting machine,
time machine device. And you see Matt Smith just like doing a jig, walking behind everybody like, hey guys, what's up?
You see the TARDIS come in behind everybody.
I'm like, because I forgot that he was in this movie. I didn't look up the cast. So like I said, this is all fresh for me. And I see him walk behind. I'm like, wait a minute, is he a bad guy? What is Matt Smith doing here? You don't just hire Matt Smith to just be a background character.
Well, so this part of the movie was pretty cool though, because we got to see kind of how he picked Kyle Reese to go back in time. Like you know that he already knows who he's sending back.
Right.
But you get to kind of see how he justified it to himself, I guess.
Yeah, I like the combo back and forth. I didn't like how they showed how they first met.
No,
which is completely erasing part 4, which kind of bugged me. I was like, okay, well, that timeline doesn't exist here. He like picks him up through the sewer or whatever. He stops some stuff and whatever. But yeah, no, this is really cool. I thought the set of the time displacement thing was going to, I don't know why they call it displacement. Where are you displacing it to? You're placing it somewhere, but whatever. I didn't name the damn thing. Maybe I'm remembering the name wrong. But I thought the whole room looked pretty slick.
Oh yeah, it was definitely interesting how even with all this like massive technology, they still needed a gigantic room to accomplish this. Well, I don't want to say little feat, but
yeah, and it's kind of like Stargate Galactica. It's almost like the Galactica ship where once they jump, they have to respool the drive. So if the Terminator already jumped, but they need to like reset everything.
Yeah,
they gotta like recharge or something. They can't just instantly do it again.
Poor Jai Courtney's got to get naked in front of his entire platoon.
I like Jai Courtney as a character. I don't know if at this point in the movie, I was like, oh, this is Kyle Reese, because Michael Biehn is so gruff.
Yeah.
And Jai Courtney's like,
no,
he's like the dude outside the fucking Hollister shop. You know, he's like some surfer looking dude.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he's funny. Like, he's charismatic. I just was like, that's a whole different, he's got a whole different take on the character. But I'm accepting to myself at this point, we were watching it, that this is not going to be T2, T1. This is going to be something different. So I'm trying to go with the journey.
No, yeah, I completely agree. I understand what you're saying. So watching this, though, I didn't really know where they were going with it. Like, I understood, okay, they're going to send him back, but
That's
I didn't.
Right, this is your first watch, too.
Yeah.
Shit, okay.
But I didn't know that you were going to follow him. Like, I didn't realize that we were going to actually follow his story. I thought it was going to stay on the present with John Connor.
Okay.
So, no, instead, we get to see him get sent back, and as he's being sent back, a lot of stuff takes place.
Yeah, you get to see Skynet's there.
Yeah. We get to see Matt Smith pop up, basically saying, hey, tricked you again. This was all part of the plan.
This is how the Targaryen dynasty begins. I'm going to send you back in time so I can get Daenerys Targaryen to make Rhaenys Targaryen to make Rhaenyra to send back in time to get to Daemon and Aemon. I'm sorry, I digress.
So what did you think of this whole, as he's being sent back in time, you see bad things happening in the present?
I thought...
Because what he said, you didn't think it'd be that easy, did you?
At that point, I was like, oh, shit, well, he's taking out John the Future, and we already know. I'm like, I didn't really think much of it. I was like, maybe this is just how it goes, and that's how Kyle Reese gets sent back, because they never explained exactly what happened that day that he gets sent back. I thought this was just how it went. I had no fucking idea. I didn't know about this whole other thing, you know, that's going on.
Right.
Yeah, so, yeah, he gets chucked back, but this is where I started to like the movie, because I was like... This is kind of genius in a way, and I'm really kind of intrigued that other people don't get it or appreciate it. And it was the trash truck. As soon as you see the trash truck, a very similar actor, the same stuff's blowing around. You see Schwarzenegger going at the punks, and you're like, they're recreating this thing that's like, I don't know, it was really cool. And then obviously the timeline changes. Pop shows up, you know, Emilia Clarke shows up. It's different, but then we jump back to Kyle Reese, and you're like, okay, well, that's kind of going exactly similar as well. Is he going to continue the same way? But how's that going to like? I started to get all these theories and mysteries in my head. Like, what's going on? The bum, they could have cast a better bum. That bum did not match the bum from the first movie. That bum from the first movie looked like he lived in a box behind Kmart. Like, that was his home.
He took my pants.
Yeah. You see the cops chasing him. I'm like, okay, this is standard. And he slams into the one cop. He's like, what year is it? And the cop's like, exactly when you show up. And I'm like, wait, what? Because I didn't remember that was a Terminator.
Right.
I was like, dude, that was so awesome.
Completely caught me off guard.
Yeah, it did me too. Because I don't remember half this movie.
But I did enjoy that. Sadly, like you were saying, the whole punks thing, they didn't have Bill Paxton. They didn't have
They could have had a way better guy.
Well,
way better guy.
I mean, look what they've been doing. They could have easily just put his face on for that 30-second scene.
They could have found somebody wacky to try to play a Bill Paxton.
Or they could have given Bill Paxton like a cameo.
Yeah, I don't think Bill Paxton had passed away yet.
I don't think he
Agents
did.
of S.H.I.E.L.D. wasn't out yet, so he was still
But this
kicking
is
around.
2015.
Yeah.
When did Bill Paxton pass? Let's look here quick. Bill Paxton passed in 2017.
Yeah, he totally could have done a voice or something, had that character more off in the shadows. I do like how they kept doing the same lines, though.
He should have been the bum.
Dude, Bill Paxton would have killed it as a bum. But then what's the joke? Where's Adam Sandler at in this movie?
He's Kyle Reese.
Yeah, I guess I should actually look at my notes for this one. I'm just kind of riffing on this one.
That's what we've been doing this whole time.
Okay, yeah, so the T-1000 cop. It's kind of cool. I like that you get the Nike, the legendary Nike. Well, to me, it's legendary. He gets in the dressing room, and like his leg goes down, like just like Michael Biehn, though.
You see the foot come down. You see the strap come over.
The way he does it, like almost spot on from T1. And I liked that whole similarity of it. And then we get the J.K. Simmons pre-character that you're like, okay, this is a whole different thing. I like the uniqueness of it. I like the whole different direction they went.
I did really like that they went that route and they allowed the cop to survive. They allowed that recruit to make it through. And then years and years later, we find that that's Simmons' character, that he's now a detective. He remembers all this. He remembers the creepy stuff that happened. He doesn't understand it. And
oh, dude, Adam Sandler.
The way he acts, but the way he acts, like you can almost tell it's been driving him nuts for the past 20 years.
Yeah, because nobody believes him.
Right.
Like, we don't want to hear about your crazy robot stories and whatever's going on. We don't hear about that. You shut your mouth.
Yeah, and J.K. Simmons played it perfect. He really did.
He's like, it's weird that he can play the movie where he plays the drummer teacher.
Whiplash,
but then he can also play, and then he's awesome in Oz, but then he can play this schlubby kind of lovable,
timid,
like,
half-rate character.
Yeah, we feel for you type cop. Yeah.
He's a good actor.
Is he? Yeah, he is. So the T-1000 is chasing them. How did you like the acid bath death scene?
Yes and no. I liked it because I thought it was pretty cool that they had it all set up and ready to go, but they never explained that it was acid.
I thought you could just plainly see
that. They showed it drop on her shirt and start to burn, and then it just burnt him, But they never really told you what it was. They never really explained anything. How did they know the dates of when he was going to show up?
Well, she knew what the one conundrum about this movie is about the Guardian coming back and why and when,
and who sent him.
Yeah. But she knew when Kyle Reese was supposed to show up. This Terminator had those detail files. Like he says, I know up to this point what's happening. So he knew when he was showing up at what time. I'm not sure how he knew through all the different Terminators and Skynets that exactly, but I'm not going to try to hurt my skull trying to figure it out.
Probably best.
Skynet just knew, so therefore the Terminator knew. I'm just going to go with that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was Wikipedia. He knew from Wikipedia.
But that whole scenario, it does give you a really good idea of just how different this is going to be, how different Sarah is, that she's actually, prepared.
Yeah.
Like it definitely adds a whole different dynamic to the movie.
Very much so. I like how in this one, she knows about the mating instead of Kyle knowing about, or John Connor knows that he's supposed to end up with Kate. Kate doesn't know, and then he has to break it to her. But then this one here, like, they kind of switch it with two different characters to switch the dynamic. Like, she knows that she's supposed about the whole fatherly thing, and then like he doesn't know that they're supposed to end up banging. But anyway, they decide they need to jump through time. Can't exactly remember why they needed to jump through time again. Why'd they have to jump through time?
Because they needed to jump to the...
Because they jumped to the
future. They had to jump to the future because they wanted to stop Skynet from activating Genisys and causing Judgment Day.
Oh, yeah, Genisys. They have to keep... At this point, they start renaming everything. Yeah. And then they show up on the freeway naked, and the cops snag them up, right? And then John... why are you here? And I do remember him showing up and remember seeing it for the first time going like, this is fucking stupid. I instantly thought John Connor being here is fucking stupid. Like I instantly knew something was up because like he can't, no, this is no, why are we writing it this way? Yeah, and that's when I started having a little bit of an issue with the movie.
Well, and when they were jumping through time, Kyle had that vision of his childhood.
Yeah, where he can see his other timeline.
Yeah, like
of him as a child.
So he was remembering things that hadn't actually happened just yet.
Yeah.
It was a little different.
And that was when I was trying to remember this before the rewatch. I was trying to think. I remembered him having dream sequences. I didn't remember it was when he was going through time. I just remember him having these sequences. And I was like, what the hell were they for?
So it was actually the first time he jumped to 1984. I think it was 84.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I couldn't remember.
He had those
from
weird
the movie.
visions. So he was actually seeing his past well before it was even written, because what if he hadn't convinced them to go to 2017? What if they did go to, 97 or whatever? Like, there's all these side, aspects of it that would he have really had those memories when they plainly try and tell you, oh, you can change the future. But by him having those memories, it meant that their future had already been written.
Hey, bud, I think you have some blood coming out of your ear because I think you like it's just compressing your brain too. Like, yeah, there's so many.
It's the bootstrap paradox.
Picking yourself up by your bootstrap. That's not physically possible.
No, it's the idea of like you sent your dog back in time to stop you from getting bitten by a snake, but by stopping the snake, you didn't have to send your dog back in time. So it's that weird...
Almost like the grandfather paradox that they talk about in the Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
Where they address this whole Terminator issue.
Actually, yeah, you're right. What? Maybe I'm misremembering the bootstrap paradox, but regardless.
Irregardless, it doesn't matter. There's people that argue about that. Yeah, okay, so they go back in time. John shows up, which is dumb. But then you start learning about this Genisys deal and Danny Dyson.
Okay, my mistake. The bootstrap paradox is when it's the hypothetical that something has to happen in the future that actually causes the event in the past that causes the event in the future.
Snake eating its tail. Gotcha.
So basically the idea that like Skynet sending a Terminator back so that Skynet could be founded based on the arm and short its own existence so that they could eventually send it back so that it could be created.
Yeah, it's a never-ending loop.
Right. So where's the beginning of it?
Well, it's the chicken before the egg, which is, they went back in time to stop Judgment Day, and Danny Dyson's daddy died to stop Judgment Day. So what does Danny Dyson do? He creates something like Skynet, this Genisys deal.
To be fair, he didn't know anything about it. He didn't know why his father died. So in his mind, it was probably just, I'm going to carry on the work that he didn't get to finish.
This kid could have done a couple bits of research somewhere, somehow, and figured it out. Like, I don't buy that this kid couldn't figure. No. My dad, when they cut open the arm, the Terminator was talking to the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like, he said, hey, look, let's go play in your room, Danny. But there's no way that Danny didn't hear anything or know anything that was going on. There's no way his mother never spoke to him about these things. No fucking way. And the fact that he creates like an AI that can help control things was absolutely ridiculous to me. They should have just had some other dumb schmuck they should have never used Danny Dyson. I feel like they could have the guy with the lollipop in T2 that says, hey, I wanted to know if like, where did it come from? And Dyson's like, I asked that question, the same thing as well. And they said, don't ask. Why don't you have that guy continue it on? That would have made way more sense than Danny Dyson to me. But here we are. We have Genisys,
Well, the only reason it even got as far as it did, though, was because John Connor showed up and decided to get hired and use his incredibly advanced technology to advance their research.
Yeah. I like how one of the news clips, when they're showing around the places of things that could be happening, they show Cheyenne Mountain from Stargate. So this is the second Stargate deal. It even says Cheyenne Mountain on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's where SG-1's located. And after they show that, we get John's double cross. You learn that John is not the good guy you think he is.
Now, in my opinion, one of the worst plot twists of the entire franchise.
Yeah.
Is that John Connor is now a Terminator-ish.
Yeah, I don't have it written down. He's like a T-3000.
Yeah, he's essentially made up of, at a cellular level, he was rewritten with nanobots.
Yeah, fucking nanites.
so that he can like morph and he can't be destroyed.
So John and
That actually
Sarah,
that really annoyed me.
No, I completely agree with you. So John and Sarah are exiles in time. Now they don't have like a specific time or something. But they end up stopping John for a minute because they use an MRI machine.
Gee, where did we see that before?
Was that in CERN?
Let's stick the Terminatrix to this giant magnet.
Yeah, definitely never going back to the well on some of these things. I did like though. So after John and Sarah get away and they go with Pops, he's like telling them because he's complaining, "Hey, you're late. You know, like where the hell were you?" And he said that there was traffic. And he's like, "There was traffic."
That's a good
and they
call
brought
back.
your pants. You know, he's like, "Was that a joke? Can a Terminator joke? What was that?" You know, so not only can a Terminator lie, but a Terminator can also joke in this series, which is nice. The shit between Pops and Kyle, I dug it because it was like, he's like, everything that you show me right now shows me that you're not good enough for Sarah Connor. You can't protect her. Like he's acting like a protective father.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He's vetting this guy like his little boyfriend. He knows that they're going to end up doing what they're doing, but he doesn't have to be happy about it. Like this they're showing the evolution. And as a guy who loves Data from Star Trek, and I like the idea of that you can become more human or just become human itself, I like what they were doing here.
I didn't like the whole hybrid human. I mean, this took that to a whole new level.
Oh, you talking about the John Connor still? Is that
Sorry,
still
yeah.
burning your chaps?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stupid. You're going to take the main reason this whole entire thing exists and to turn it into the villain. You really had no other ideas of what to do.
And there was even a point where Sarah and Kyle were saying, well, what if we just don't have a kid? If we never do the deed, he's never born. This doesn't happen. Well,
he's like, well, then I'll never get sent back. Okay, you're not just going to poof, gone.
But then you're also, that means that the resistance never got as far as it did. And it's just,
they started.
Sometimes it looks good on paper, but when you actually stop and think about the repercussions of what you're writers.
The thread started to come loose on this one. It's when you start, this is where you already had kind of a couple different timelines that could be there because of time travel, but now you're like, you just throw a whole ball of yarn out in the living room and it's being torn to pieces. Like it's going everywhere now. Because you have people that have jumped and then jumped again, who and like it's and then somebody that's already there from an alternate timeline somehow. Yeah, it starts getting a little bit too crazy. That's why I chose to like ignore most of the time travel in this one. I just put it to the side, but I couldn't ignore the John Connor. I'm with you on that. I couldn't do it. It was irritating. No offense to Jason Isaacs or Jason Clarke, two different characters, both as Zargetti, same guy. Could have got him to play John Connor. It just, no, doesn't work. Doesn't work here for me at all. I like the rest of the cast, though. I thought they did what they did. They took different takes on the characters. I thought Emilia Clarke was okay as Linda Hamilton's replacement. Jai Courtney, like I said, wasn't perfect as this, but I don't know.
I guess I just have to remember, yes, this literally is an alternate universe.
It has to be, 100%.
Like, not only do they not look the same, which I understand, people age, you got to get different actors. I'm not stupid, I get it. But when you're retelling a story that already happened and you're trying to tie it to the original story, I think that's where my disconnect with Emilia Clarke is, because her acting was fine. I just had a hard time remembering that that's Sarah Connor. That was a whole new actor or a whole new character to me. Same with Jai Courtney. He didn't feel like Kyle Reese to me.
I agree with that part about the Kyle Reese. I try to remember when the new Star Trek movies came out, because it always goes back to Star Trek for me.
I know.
When Spock is in there, Leonard Nimoy, and he runs into Chris Pine as Kirk. Obviously, Leonard Nimoy, Spock, knows what William Shatner looks like. But he looks at Chris Pine, talks to him, and ignores that whole entire thing. It's like it's not even a thing. It's just a replacement actor. This is the character. The face doesn't matter. This is the character. And I feel like that's what I kind of had to do as watching this is, oh yeah, I know what Michael Biehn looks like. And I know what Linda Hamilton looks like, but I'm just going to have to choose to ignore that they're physically two different people and just go with it.
All right. I mean, I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I liked the movie. I just didn't like the movie.
Well, so what do you give your rating for this movie before you give me any behind the scenes info?
Are you sure you want that?
Yeah, I do.
A 5.5.
I
Very
give it-
low.
I give it a 7.
What?
Yeah, give it a 7. I'd rewatch it again.
My biggest issue with it
It's an okay movie.
was the whole John Connor thing. I felt like they completely ruined what made the franchise the franchise.
Well, how did you feel about the whole Matt Smith, like, aging up to Matt Smith towards the end there as they're trying to take out Genisys? You know, they're in there, they're trying to destroy the facility, and he keeps popping up. They keep smashing the camera, the projectors, and he keeps popping right back up. He's like, I'm still here. You know, he just rapidly keeps re-aging up. I didn't like that they recalled the Genisys. Like, and I'll get to an issue with the next movie as well. Like, it's fucking Skynet, dude.
Yeah.
Like, let's stop trying to.
Well, I think part of that was John Connor renamed it to try and throw people off from it so that anybody who likes, Kyle and Sarah.
That makes sense. I didn't think of that.
They wouldn't know to look for it.
That makes perfect sense. I get that. Too bad they forgot about dream sequences through time. So
yeah,
So if I travel through time, will I see myself doing different things from a different timeline?
But remember, it's perfectly okay for you to approach your younger self at your home and tell you to speak into a mirror.
They're not part of Starfleet. They can mess with time travel. They don't have to mess with the Prime Directive, okay? They're allowed to do things. This isn't the Orville, okay, where you have to hide up in a shed somewhere and then get in trouble because you didn't, and they destroy your whole entire family's timeline.
It happens.
What do you got behind the scenes for me? Any info on this one? Or were you like, this movie sucks so much I didn't look?
I actually don't have any behind the scenes on this.
Are you dead serious?
I am. Oh, there was an end credit scene. Did you go back and see it?
I did. I went back when I had to when I redid my notes for T3.
Sorry, mid credit scene where it just briefly shows the, I guess, Skynet core, and then the one remaining projector projects Matt Smith showing he's not dead yet.
Yeah, everything's zapping around. Forgot about the part where Pops merges with the T1000 liquid.
Oh yeah, he gets his upgrade.
Yeah, I've been upgraded. I'm old, not obsolete. Now, I apologize to all the fans. I didn't really do any behind the scenes on this one. I just know that almost everybody I've known that has seen this has been like, that's a turd and I don't care to talk about it.
It was rough. It was rough.
I mean, hey, you got 2 Targaryens. There you go. There's before they were Targaryen. Well, before one of them was a Targaryen.
I would watch Alien 3 before I watched this.
Oh, I wouldn't. I'd watch this first. I just watched Aliens 3 in my head right there. Boom, done. I don't need to watch it on the screen. There's sand fleas. Okay. Oh, well, that movie there has not a Targaryen, but it has a dude from Casterly Rock in it. So another Game of Thrones reference. The doctor that gets murdered, Lannister.
What movie?
Aliens 3. Stay on track here, man. This ain't that late. We got one more movie to go.
And that movie is Terminator Dark Fate.
Ooh, that sounds ominous.
2019, rated R, coming in at 2 hours and 8 minutes. IMDb gave it a whopping 6.2.
Rotten Tomatoes, 70 for the critics, 82 for the audience. That's actually pretty good.
That is.
And let me flip through my notes here. When's the last time we had like an actual good 89 for the Terminator, 95 for T2, 46?
Yeah, that was the last one, T2.
Yeah, it had to have been because 53. Yeah, so people, despite the fact that this bombed, and I actually enjoyed this movie thoroughly. Kind of sucks. What was the budget on this one?
So this actually only had a $185 to $196 million budget.
And what was it per turn?
So significantly lower, actually, than some of the other ones. The worldwide return was $261.1 million.
So about that box office domestic. So we said the last movie, it was for 155. It only brought in 89 at home, right?
Yeah.
So this one, 185, brought in $62.3 million.
That's painful.
Yeah, that's
a third of the cost to make it.
Yeah, if you're looking at the top, 100 movies on Box Office Mojo of the year, this is not going to be anywhere probably near the top, I would guess. It's 62 million. And 261 million worldwide. That's what it should be making domestically. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a box office bomb. Like the last one didn't do what they wanted it to. The one before was a little bit shaky, but this one definitely.
Yeah.
And I think it's unfortunate because I think this is better than Genisys by a decent amount personally, but it is what it is.
Well, on the bright side, we got James Cameron reattached to the project, thankfully.
Who's the director for this?
Tim Miller.
The name is familiar. What else did he do? Do you remember?
No idea.
No, I know he's done something else.
And
did he do the first Deadpool? I don't like the Levy guy's doing the one now. Did Tim Miller do one of the Deadpools?
it looks like he was also the director producer of the first Deadpool movie, as well as Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, so this guy's not a horrible director.
A lot of other stuff, actually, most of which I've never heard of, but I mean,
Yeah, he seems like an okay director. Just not understanding why this one didn't translate to people, especially with Linda Hamilton coming back.
He was the
Schwarzenegger coming back.
Creative supply something, it cuts it off, for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, as well as for Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. He did visual effects for Mass Effect and Star Wars: The Old Republic video games.
So he's been in the business and around the different aspects of the different.
Yeah, it definitely looks like he's got some experience. Yeah.
Yeah, so I understand why they brought him in for this. You know, when was the first Deadpool? Did it say there? Or did you already go past your page?
2016.
So he does Deadpool, and they're like, you know what? We're going to give you Terminator. That's what I'm hearing from that. I don't understand why that was an issue, but so who all is in this movie? We know Linda Hamilton and Schwarzenegger come back.
Yes, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton. And then we have Mackenzie Davis as Grace, Gabriel Luna playing Rev 9, Natalia Reyes as Danny Ramos, and Edward Furlong as John Connor, but not really.
The digital face.
The digital recreation of Edward Furlong's John Connor. So this movie starts out very different from the other ones.
Well, it ignores 3, 4, and 5.
Yes. This movie is considered a direct sequel off of Terminator 2 in most respects. From my understanding, James Cameron considers this to be the actual third movie coming out of it.
Okay.
I mean,
sure. Fine. I mean, this is, if you want to replace T3 with this one, I don't care what the box office says. I'll replace this with T3. That's fine by me.
Well, I mean, this one definitely takes a much darker turn in the beginning. We see them, drinking it up in Antigua or something. I don't
Cancun,
wherever they are.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it did write down Guatemala. And all of a sudden a T-800 shows up. Just blows John Connor away.
Yep, ghosts him hard.
And then he walks away.
Or bodies him. If you ghost somebody, you leave. Thus the movie Ghosted. Yeah, he just straight up and kills John Connor. We get that digital mapping on there. We also get digital mapping on this other. I saw his name, couldn't remember, but he was another bodybuilder who took on the role for Schwarzenegger here.
Okay.
I think he did fine for him to walk up, shoot, and walk away. I mean, he looked like a Terminator. I thought that black shirt was going to rip right off. But
hey, he did the job.
Yeah.
So I was reading that after the events of Terminator 2, essentially Skynet was thwarted at that part. It was done. It wasn't going to happen. Judgment Day was no longer going to happen.
So it's not inevitable.
Well, that we know of.
Yeah.
This T-800, however, was a different one that was sent back that didn't know that the future had changed. That this one had no idea that they had stopped, Skynet from being created.
So there's this idea that they sent more than one T-800 back.
And that this one just had that objective in its head, and that's all it had to do. It had to complete its objective. And that's why it tracked them down and killed them, even though technically it made no difference for the future at this point.
Right.
So
it had to finish its mission. Had to. Yeah. Was Grace? Is she the one that appears next? Is that the next scene? Yeah. So she appears. There's
50 feet in the air.
Again, these poor humans get dropped. Yeah. So the Grace drops, like you said, way out of the air. There's a couple doing their thing. They decide to help her. The policia come.
So I had to pause my movie thinking I downloaded the wrong one. Like I had to go look and see what I got because there was just subtitles. I thought I downloaded like a Spanish version instead of getting the English version.
Which was it? These movies I told you, or was it what series did we? There was one series that I purchased for these, and I ended up getting the wrong ones, or they were like all Japanese or something.
Oh, I don't know.
You know, well, I got them so long ago.
Well, I had to go back and see what I bought. Like, did I get Spanish?
Yeah, so I had to get some different ones. Yeah, so she shows up, she beats the snot out of those police officers and then takes the dude's clothes. This poor kid takes his clothes. Yep. I mean, he was tall and thin and around the same size, I suppose. Then we jump over to meet Danny and her boy, or her, boy toy. These are they're not Targaryens.
Her brother,
her brother, and her dad. They're living in some apartments. They go off to work, and then we get to meet the Rev 9. We don't know he's called that. Just this dude kind of just appears by the laundry in the middle of this apartment building, and this lady is like, this little lady. Dude, her reaction is like, "What the hell are you doing? Like, what is going on?"
He also appeared really high in the air.
Yeah. Well, I think he's made out of some different stuff. He's not like super heavy or something. Maybe that's my guess. I don't know. But he doesn't seem like you said, he's not just going to go around and start murdering people. He's just, he does what he needs to for his objective. You kind of tell right away, kind of by his demeanor, that he might be the bad dude here, because he goes up to the dad and he's like, "Yo, where's Danielle Ramos or whatever?" And he's like, "Oh, all our friends call her Danny." He goes, "Danny." Right. You get that vibe from the T-1000 from a long time ago.
Yeah, it had a solid T-1000 going to John Connor's foster parents feel to it.
Yes, very much so. So Danny goes to work. Her brother's going to get the axe. Not from a Terminator. He's just like, they're going to chuck him out like he's not doing his job good enough or something, or downsizing. She's going to argue because she's feisty.
Well, so they briefly mentioned it, and you'd miss it if you didn't read the subtitles, that his job was being replaced by
I didn't miss
a robot.
Yeah, there's all the automated. It's like it's almost like a car factory type place where these robots are doing.
So he's going to lose his job because a robot is taking over.
Yeah, robots need love too, though. You know what I'm saying? Well, her dad shows up because he's got his lunches. Well, we realize that's not Daddy no more, because what does a Terminator do? It terminates things and replaces them. But it's cool because Grace has snuck into the facility, stolen some security gear. Well, she helps save the day for a minute, partially, and they go on the run. We find out that she's not 100% human. Something's going on there. She doesn't quite seem like a Terminator, but she's not your average Joe either.
Which we do find out in the flashback, flash forward. Her flashback, our flash forward. That, she basically got really messed up in war, blown up from the war with the Terminators, and volunteered to be augmented.
Yeah, kind of like a Marcus. She's got like, only she didn't already have a Terminator chassis inside. And you see what the Rev 9 can kind of like already the beginning capabilities of his. I like how he's like that. What is it, the pufferfish or something? Or what's the one fish that just like shoots like spikes out?
A porcupine.
No, not like shoots them like far. Just like they kind of just pop out. I don't know. Maybe that creature doesn't exist. I thought there was a creature that did that.
I think it's a Pokemon.
That movie, or it's that one dude from that bad X-Men movie. But yeah, this Rev 9's like durable. He's taking some heat. He's giving some heat. I like this actor as this Terminator. I haven't really seen him in anything else, but
yeah, I liked him.
He's cool and calm. You can instantly tell that this Terminator can deal in social situations very, very well. Yeah.
Well, I read that this actor actually studied Robert Patrick from T2 because he wanted to have that same, super stiff demeanor that the T-1000 had. And I personally feel like he did a really good job.
I have no qualms with this guy in the entire movie. His acting, not a damn problem. I don't really have any problem with anybody's acting in this movie, honestly.
That is true, too. Except Danny Furlong. Yeah. He didn't die realistically enough.
Edward Furlong?
Fuck. Anyway,
yeah. So they try to escape. All of a sudden, I'm playing a GTA game because the Rev 9 comes with a damn bulldozer. through a fucking wall. Reminds me of the Gone in 60 Seconds scene. He's like, "Are you okay?
Yes.
Because you just got hit." But yeah, so he comes flying through, and this again, the big giant heavy machine. I'm like, okay, we're going back to these big giant chase scenes. This is going to be something like that. I mean, the shit's just. I thought it was balls to walls crazy. This whole thing, and you get to see that the Rev 9 can split into two. The whole new feature, because like each movie, you gotta upgrade a Terminator somehow, for better or for worse. So this dude can like liquidly. He's like tar. I know he's like metal, but it reminds me of like black tar.
Well, so it kind of reminded me of the liquid metal from Terminator 2 mixed with the weird like molecular nano things that John Connor had in Salvation. Not Salvation, Genisys.
Yeah, I agree. I just meant like the look of it. It looks like
okay.
black tar.
And I did really like, though, that the endoskeleton
it looked cool as
was
shit.
black metal instead of the classic silver.
Excuse me.
Chrome, whatever.
Yeah,
so, yeah, you basically got the best of Terminator 1 and 2 put into a single movie. So they're fighting essentially two sentient machines.
I think I read somewhere that they said that the stuff that these Terminators are made of are different than the other Terminators, and that might be why it's black. The whole, like, I think it was titanium type stuff that the other, like the T-800s and everything made of. These Revs are made out of a different type of material, a metal.
Okay.
I can't remember what that metal is or what alloy, but I think that's why they're slightly different, maybe even lighter. It's because they're not made out of the other. It's like an improvement. And this isn't Skynet making them. So, I mean, we don't know that right now, but it's not Skynet making them. Spoilers. Yeah. And then we get some women power, because who shows up to save the day?
Linda Hamilton with a rocket launcher.
Yes, because why the fuck not? I mean,
why not?
How did you feel, before we go any farther, how did you feel about Linda Hamilton's portrayal as Sarah Connor in this? Do you feel that it was faithful from T1 to T2 to this new T3? Do you think her character made sense?
Yeah.
Because I do too.
Yeah, I do.
She was grumpy. She was sassy. She was tough. She was kind of aloof at times. She was just all over the place.
The only thing was she went from mentally unstable in T2 to very grounded. But I also think it was less about the mentally unstable part and more about the simply nobody was believing her in T2.
I think she found a mission. Once her kid got killed, I think she's like, I got one mission, and that's I'm going to find every fucking Terminator, Skynet, whatever, and I'm going to murder the shit out of it.
Yep.
One single focus to make her mental state not be good, but not be erratic either. Like, be set in one direction.
Yeah. So
they stopped the Rev 9. Danny's secret, there's like a secret that they don't tell him about Danny for like 50 minutes. About like why she's even important. Because I looked down and I'm like, dude, it's about 53 minutes or something. And they have not really said why she needs to be protective. So Sarah Connor needs to explain why and what's going on. Because what's her face is like burnout, right? And they need to like universal soldier her into a bunch of ice.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, she says that her augmentations are designed to get her going for short bursts of energy.
She's like a cheetah. And
then she needs, and named off like 8 different medications. I don't think any of them really had anything to do with one another. But she needs one of them in order to,
Yeah, so
actually all of them, I guess, mixed together.
They gotta like rob a pharmacy.
Yeah.
So Linda Hamilton is like, you gotta like learn to survive or whatever. You gotta put your phone and potato chip back. She explains that somebody secretly has been sending her coordinates where all these Terminators are showing up. That's how she knew where they were going to be. And this person always says for John. Did you have any idea who this was?
No.
No clue. Because your first time watching, you had no idea.
First time watching, no, I had no idea. I thought maybe it was... At first I thought maybe it was like something from the future. Then I thought maybe someone else came back. My first thought was Kyle Reese, but oh wait, no, it can't be because this is a continuation off the first 2, so that's canon again.
It's not Baby Connor,
right?
It's not the Connor baby.
So yeah.
Okay, so I'm glad. So you had a legit mystery. You had like no idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So they decide we need to go find out who this dude is. If this dude's helping us out, this woman, whoever it may be, we got to go find him.
Yep. And I mean, Grace has it tattooed on her stomach, so
yeah. So who do they find though when they set off on their grand adventure?
Coral.
Carl. Wait, Carl? Did he have 2 eyes or 1 eye at this point?
Yes. They find Arnold Schwarzenegger's T-800 as Carl.
Yes. I do drapes. Yeah, he has to explain to them after Sarah Connor's like, I want to fucking murder you, you piece of shit.
Yep.
He has to, but here's my thing real quick. I just now thought about it. She's been given coordinates this whole entire time to kill Terminators, but this is a Terminator. How does she know that this isn't just, well, how does she know that this is the Terminator that killed her son? Just intuition, instinct. It makes sense.
The only thing I could figure was when he comes out and she sees him from that side profile, he has like this scar along the side of his eye. But I never went back to look and see if
I never know where that came from.
I never went back to see if the Terminator killed her son had that or not. But yeah,
I don't know. I wish they would have explained that scar a little bit better because, and if maybe they did, and I'm just missing it. But you didn't remember how the fuck that scar got there either. But anyway, she figures out that that's who it is.
Then my other question was, if she's getting all these coordinates over the years to go kill Terminators, who are they all coming back for?
Yeah,
Like,
is she triangulating? She doing some detective work?
well, I mean, like,
Something?
if they're all coming back to our time and she's just killing them one by one, first off, how is she killing them? But second, who or why are they coming back? Because we know they don't come back for no reason.
Yeah.
They don't explain that.
No, little holy there. So they have some big convo about why he's doing this, and he's kind of married now, has a kid, and they're like, doesn't your wife notice that you're like 400 pounds? He's like, we're not physical. It's emotional. I changed diapers. He pretty much says he's like the perfect father. He doesn't talk shit. He doesn't beat her. He changes diapers. He keeps a steady job.
He listens.
And I'm extremely funny. I fucking busted up. Even though I forgot that he had said that. I'm extremely funny.
Oh.
He kind of has that. He's like Pops. He kind of carries that over from the movie that doesn't exist. Kind of carries that over a bit, and I appreciated it. I did. I feel like Danny's taking a back seat though, kind of at this point in the movie. Like she's just sort of there, but they decide, they gotta, they gotta take out the Rev 9 and they gotta, escape someplace safe or whatever. They're gonna do a kill box. They're gonna trap the Rev 9, and Sarah Connor's having this crisis. Like she needs help from Carl, but she needs to kill Carl. She hates Carl.
Mm-hmm.
She's having this whole dichotomy of what should I do? Should I follow my instincts and murder this son of a bitch like I tried to do the one in T2? Or should I? But she says, when this is all over, I'm going to fucking kill you. And he's like, I get that.
Yeah. He's like, okay.
Yeah. That's fine.
At what point, I don't remember, at what point do we find out that Skynet no longer exists?
I think a little bit before this, Sarah Connor is yelling about Skynet and Grace is like, what are you talking? I have no idea what Skynet is. I know what Legion is, because now it's went from Skynet to Genisys to Legion. So now it's Legion, which is a whole different thing. I don't remember who creates Legion or whatever, some person. It's just going to be a social network where everybody's going to be connected. Or no, that was Genisys. What the hell is Legion?
That was Genisys.
Yeah.
All they ever explain is that Legion is an AI.
Yeah. Some other military project. There's always going to be a military project, maybe.
Linda Hamilton's character even says, like, oh, they never learn.
Yeah. I think he did the good cigarette voice there. that was pretty good.
But my complaint to that was, how are they supposed to learn if it never already happened?
Well, no, it's just somebody else came up with a whole nother program. Maybe somebody made a robot movie and somebody watched the robot movie and goes, hey, I can make that for the thing. At some point, Carl he's explaining to, I think, Danny, or is it Grace? He's talking about how he had a client that he sold drapes to, and then the guy wanted solid colors. He's like, I told him, no, you need polka dots and stripes.
In the kids' room.
In the kids' room.
So he's discussing this while they're waiting on Sarah's contact with the military to show up.
Yeah.
They're just standing there in the hangar, and he's like telling
Terminator's making small talk.
Yeah, about drapes.
I said, no, you need polka dots. He's like, are you the kindergarten cop now?
Because he even said he's like, one wrong color can just mess the room up.
Yeah. And then again, it's like a whole evolution. They threw away the Pops thing, but then they still brought it in for this one. That way you can see these Terminators can evolve. And I suppose if it took them like 50 years to kill their target. They would have to be part of society. They would have to infiltrate and learn to adapt. After the whole, they're waiting for the military dude. The Rev 9 shows up. Later on, they're in a conversation after one of the chases, and Linda yells out, "You're John." After they finally explain who the hell Danny is, why she's important, which to me wasn't the most original idea. I mean,
well, they went from she's going to give birth to the leader to you are the leader. And then in the flash forward, when we see her,
it's that woman power thing, you know,
when we see her save Grace from a bunch of bullies, she looks even younger than she is now.
Yeah, that flash forward was not my favorite part of the movie.
She's like 4'3".
She's not a very, very big girl. No. Yeah, but they realize, well, she's like, oh, you're John in the story. That's who you are. You're John. That's why they're trying to kill you. So Rev 9 gets to the military base, starts impersonating people, impersonates this one lady like brilliantly, takes over, this, what was it, like a
little compost. Like comms, not compost.
Yeah, like the communications post to figure out where they're, and he's getting people, he wants them to get, send people to sick on her. At some point, though, he drops out of, I don't know what he's flying. Is it a helicopter? Yeah, he says, where can we find a chopper? But, like, he falls out of the chopper into somebody's shed.
Yeah.
And he gets out of the shed, he walks up, and everybody at the barbecue's, like, looking at him like, what the fuck just happened? He goes, sorry about your shed. He just keeps walking.
He walks away.
He was so polite to that guy. I'm so sorry about your shed, bud.
Yeah, that was great. That was.
He didn't murder everybody, but he could have just walked and not spoken at all. But there's like, when the cops show up before he gets to the helicopter, when he asks about the helicopter, he's like, hey man, you guys here from all that shit that just went down, yada, yada, yada. Like, he's just talking. He's so socially adaptable.
Kept changing his accent to people too.
Yeah, he's like, oh man, this whole entire thing's going on. Like this Rev 9, I don't know. We might have a discussion at one point, like, who is our favorite, like, Terminator other than Arnold, because this dude killed it. He killed it in a so different way. Well, they end up at the Hoover Dam or something, and the whole giant climax happens.
A big dam, yeah.
Yeah, after they're in a big giant cargo plane, which I thought that whole entire sequence of them fighting in the cargo plane was really fucking cool.
It's something I'd never seen before. I mean, well, yes, okay, I have. I've seen people fighting in a plane, like the zero gravity because you're falling.
But with Terminators?
He literally he tried to pit maneuver a plane with a plane. But when he shows up to the jets that are following their big cargo plane, they think he's there to refuel, and they literally just, like, smash down on top of them. Like
you're here a little bit early, aren't you?
Playing like whack-a-mole with jets.
Kind of like when the T-800 brake checked the T-1000. He kind of did the opposite and just like went right in. He's like, let's just do this.
Yeah, but he goes right in while riding on the front of the airplane. For a minute, I thought I was watching Die Hard.
Yeah, that's where he drops down. Not from the helicopter, he drops down from there. Is that where he does the... No, it is from the helicopter. Yeah, I just thought Grace getting tore up and the Terminator going back and forth with half of the Rev 9 and them just smashing into everything. And you can just tell that this T-800 Pops, Carl, whatever, is giving it all. And it's not really doing what he wants it to do, but he's trying. He's really trying. I do like how they just dropped a car on his ass. The Humvee, just like, goodbye, to finally get him off.
And when they first crashed the planes there, they had that brief underwater fight between the Rev 9, both parts of the Rev 9 and the T-800. And it was really well done.
I love how, I don't know, have you ever been in an actual military Humvee?
No.
I've driven them, and I'm telling you right now, I don't believe they're that water. Now, yeah, water did come up in it, but it was so watertight there for a minute. I was like, there's no fucking way. As soon as that sumbitch is underwater, you are like underwater. Like the whole thing, that cab is like, they are not sealed that well. Like, this is the best, like, sealed tight craft I've ever seen.
It was aquatic.
Yes. Well, those aquanauts, yeah, that my note was Humvee, no leakage underwater for a while. Like, what's going on here?
My issue with that was Grace, like, cuts it and they fall. Oh, buckle up. Hitting the water at that kind of speed, like, that's like hitting a brick wall.
Yeah, the whiplash you're going to get from being
Yeah.
slammed around that cab. And again, sitting in those Humvees, nothing is comfortable whatsoever. Where the heat comes out at your leg, where the radio comms go here in the middle, just like everything is just like squared off. It's hard metal. The seats are like not made for comfort. This isn't the Humvee over here at the dealership, man. Like that, dude, slamming into that water from, dude, just 100 feet, let alone 1,000 feet up in the air.
Well, let's think about it. Say 1,000. So let's just say 200 feet. You take 1d6 of damage for every 10 feet you fall.
Shit, I rolled. No, this isn't
so let's
good.
see. That means you're taking at least 20 d6s of damage.
Can I just throw my death saves now, or
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, but they all survived that. I did like the turbine type deal that's grinding.
Yeah.
And they just jam this Rev 9 in that son of a bitch and just like push.
Well, I like that it wasn't even a sudden, throw them in real quick type of deal.
No, it was a fight.
It was like you very blatantly saw what they were trying to do. He knew what they were trying to do, and he was pushing back against it.
I didn't like, though, when they first go in there and she goes, "No, this is our kill box. This giant ass fucking room with shit everywhere with all these places to get killed. This is no. Do you not know what a kill box is? If you've ever been in warfare, this is a fucking slaughterhouse. Is what this is. This isn't a kill. Get out of here, man."
She would have had better luck in the meat factory with Predator.
Probably. Shit. Like, this thing's like 7 fucking football fields. This is not a kill box. It's a sandbox, homie. Anywho. So, yeah, things happen. The Terminator, for John, says his spiel. Well, whatever. And things move on. And, we don't get a Terminator after this to see how anybody ended up way after.
Not yet.
There is a lot of rumors, though. James Cameron himself said that, and he is doing these Avatar movies, said that he is trying to get a script together for the next Terminator. Will it make a splash? Who knows? It depends on the type of budget anybody gives them, who owns the rights at that point. I don't know. What do you give Dark Fate out of 10, my friend? I don't really do points. That's why mine either jump from like a 7 to 8 or something,
So I gave it a 6 out of 10.
I want to see what your ranking system is like. What is a 1? What's a 2? What's a 7?
Well, let's see.
I give this one like a 7, almost 8 out of 10. I really like this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good movie. It was entertaining. But, I mean, maybe I'm just boring, but I didn't think it felt like a Terminator movie. Something about it just felt off. And more than that, I didn't like some of the forced comedy behind it. Like,
I think you sum up the audience here in America that if it's not Terminator 2, it's not a Terminator movie.
No. No,
it has to be T1 or T2. Like you said T3. Well, did T3 feel like a Terminator movie, or did it feel like a parody?
T3 felt like a parody of all movies.
Okay, you said T4 didn't feel like a Terminator movie. T5, did that feel like a Terminator movie? No. Yeah. See, anything past T2 for you is not a Terminator movie.
Well, I can't help it if everything past T2 sucked.
Oh, they don't. Overall, out of 10, what do you give the entire franchise?
The whole franchise?
Whole entire franchise.
8.
8? I thought you like average out and be like 5.9.
No. No, I'm going to go with 8. Especially after these conversations, I feel like I may have, and again, some of them I only ever watched once. Maybe watching them again would change my mind on it. But all in all, it's one of those franchises that it doesn't really matter which movie is on. If I would catch it, I'm going to watch it.
All right, 3 big franchises: Aliens, Predator, Terminator. Those are pretty much the big ones that aren't horror or anything else crazy.
They're the ones that really defined,
like the sci-fi bending.
Yeah.
Where's Terminator in that mix? Like if you had a choice, you're stuck on a nice island with whatever drinks you want, but you only have a box set of one of these franchises that you can watch for the next year. You're there for a year. You don't have. These are the only. You might have other TV shows to watch, but you only have. Like, you got to watch at least one of these days. Like, which one are you being stuck with?
Probably Alien.
Alien?
Alien, Terminator, and then Predator. However, I feel like Terminator would give you a lot more to work with as far as being stuck with it for a year because you could theorize heavily.
I feel like so much happens in the movies. There's so much moving parts. I would go Alien last, only because some of them are slow moving and the CGI is weird, and I hate 3. And and like I don't know. It'd be hard. Predator versus Terminator. There's not as many Predators, is there? How many Predators were there? 5?
5, I think. Yeah.
It's just that last Predator, man, really.
No, 4. You're right, 4. That didn't exist. Damn it, Boyd Holbrook.
Yeah, he was good though.
Leather jacket.
Yeah, see, that's another reason that. Well, we have AVP. I don't know where those ones fall into the whole thing. Are they additions? Well, I guess okay. So if they were additions to either the AVP, you get the aliens plus the AVPs, you get the Predator plus the AVPs. So I guess you get the shitty RoboCops with the Terminators. I don't know. It's an interesting quandary, but there you have it. We have tackled 6 Terminator movies. I'm going to definitely check out Terminator Zero whenever it drops on Netflix.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll have to do like a quick shout out to it whenever we do whatever podcast is around and say what we thought about it.
What's your overall ranking of all 6 movies then?
I agreed with you. I gave it an 8.
I mean, like, order.
Order? Oh, let's go with bottom to top. Number 6, Rise of the Machines. Number 5, Genisys. Number 4, Dark Fate. Number 3, Salvation. Number 2, Terminator. And number 1, Terminator.
See, I agree, but I would have to switch the last 2.
Genisys and Rise of the Machines?
Yeah.
And they're a toss-up, really.
Yeah.
Depends on what day or what you really want to see. You want more comedy, or do you want... Oh, I guess they're both comedy. I don't know. I used to really like part 3, and then watching it again, I was like, I think it is because it was too jokey.
Any overall like theories or anything like that you've read in your research that you found interesting?
I've read stuff. I don't really remember it offhand. There's so many theories out there. Like I already wrote throughout the shorts one. You've heard about this is the prequel stuff to The Matrix, or there's just so many. Ranker has like a really nice list of all people's wild.
Oh, really?
Theories out there.
I really like the one that this is a prequel to The Matrix, and it weirdly could make sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you just put everybody in a simulation after they get tired of going back in time and fighting these giant wars, just, you know what? Just put everybody in a simulation. Maybe in Salvation, that's what they were going to do. Maybe they're going to start putting them in battery boxes.
Well, yeah, I mean, why did they start taking prisoners all of a sudden? They don't need them.
Yeah, they don't. They need to exterminate the humans.
Right.
But now, as a human...
And, I mean, maybe their batteries are starting to run low, or they're
They're hydrogen fuel cells?
Nuclear fusion cores. They can't go solar because of the nuclear fallout from all the, hundreds of thousands of missiles that were launched.
The fact is they
need energy, so they're making people batteries.
They need energy, and they cannot eradicate humans. Humans just are like cockroaches. We will not die. We will keep breeding underground somewhere, under the seas. And so they're like, you know what? Let's just put them in a nice dream state with Genisys.
It'll prevent them from waking up. Oh.
Genisys is the Matrix. Yeah, I don't know. Well, there you have it. That's it. I'm done. I'm over it. Well, so what 17 movie franchise are we going to do next?
Fast and the Furious.
No.
Followed by every single
John can be your host
of
for
the
that
Apes
one.
Ever made.
You know what? I think I might actually rewatch those. I'm not suggesting we do a podcast on them.
I haven't seen any of the new ones.
I saw the first 2, and they were so long ago that I'm like, you know what? I might as well just redo this.
Actually,
because they gave a lot of hate.
Not that long ago, like maybe 6 months ago or so, I rewatched Pacific Rim. There's only 2 of them, but
never saw the second one.
Horribly far-fetched. Like, I mean, it's a sci-fi movie. Of course, it's going to be out there. But I mean, this is like ridiculously out there. But they were all in all still really good.
I like the first one I saw, one with Charlie.
And then, of course, there's all these theories that it's the prequel to Godzilla.
Yeah,
Godzilla's a kaiju that comes through later, and they don't catch it. And
my friends just watched the new King Kong thing. They're like, "Oh, it was actually pretty good. Did you see it?" I was like, "No, I'm good." But like, but you like those movies? I was like, "I do not like Godzilla movies. I don't."
Well, what do you want us to watch? What do you want us to go over and review? You could easily let us know by commenting down below on this video on YouTube
As
Or-
long as it's under the Geek umbrella, man, we'll give it a shot. Give us some suggestions.
We will find a way to justify it being under the Geek umbrella.
Yeah, if you send 1,000 messages saying you have to do Godzilla's, then I will do the brand new Godzilla movies.
We will block you. Or if you want, jump over to Instagram, Facebook, or X. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you want us to cover next. We're open to suggestions. I mean, don't get me wrong. We have a whole list of topics that we're going to be going over. We'll happily squeeze you in. I mean, heck, if it's something that we really want to get into next, well, next-ish.
Somewhere down the line.
Somewhere down the
that
line.
old
Let's go with
line,
that.
down that old line.
If you really want to connect with us, you can always go to patreon.com/Tree of Geek. And for $5 a month, you can join our amazing Patreon account, where you'll have the opportunity to vote in surveys on upcoming episodes, as well as contact us directly. There's a chat system available that we can have some one-on-one fun with.
Can you slide into our DMs? Is that the same thing?
I mean, why not?
Oh, okay.
Tree of Geek onlyfans.
You want to see my branches? All right, we need to make like a leaf and get out of here.
We'll call it it'll be onlyfans.com/little acorns.
What are you calling little acorns? Anyway, let's do this. Let's wrap this up. Come on. All right, we're delirious now. I've had too much Kraken.
Yeah.
Let's go.
But remember, the conversation doesn't have to end here. Jump onto any of our socials or Patreon. Message us with some of your fan theories. We'd love to hear them. Comment down below with your fan theories or comments. Let the conversation continue. I've said it before. I know Michael's not as into it, but I love a good fan theory. I love a good, that's completely out of left field. Let's go with it.
I'm a more what if guy than fan theory.
I feel like they could fall under the same umbrella, though, if done correctly. But you know what? It is the end of the road for Terminator. For now, this dark fate train is over. So we'll see what's coming down the pipeline in the future. But for the Tree of Geek, this is Josh saying take care.
And this is Arnold saying to you, thank you for going down this magical journey. And if your name's Sean Connor or Sarah Connor, I'll be back. Hey, what does the Star Trek Enterprise and tissue paper have in common?
What?
They're both searching for Klingons.
Oh, Jesus.